Why is Aquarius associated with the star and the fool in tarot? In Aquarius season, it helps to anchor the symbolism. And in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the star shows Aquarius, a figure kneeling at the edge of water, pouring water from two vessels, one into the pool and one onto the land, under a sky full of stars. That calm, steady atmosphere is fixed air in tarot form. Aquarius holds a clear mental signal long enough to stay focused, stay objective, and keep the future vision stable. It isn't about emotions spilling over or personal drama. It's about steady mental clarity returning, fixed air. So vision holds, purpose stays intact, and the future pattern becomes clear again. And the reason we pair Aquarius with the star, and then pivot straight into the Fool as Uranus, isn't random or just vibes. It's rooted in the historical correspondence work that shaped modern tarot as we know it. The Order of the Golden Dawn built the tarot astrology system in the late 1800s, and it's still widely used today. Aquarius is oriented toward the bigger picture. It governs systems, networks, collectives, and the way an idea moves through society. The star gives us a visual symbol for that Aquarian function, the ability to hold a guiding vision that is bigger than the immediate moment. So why is the ruling planet of Aquarius associated with the Fool? When we discuss Aquarian energy, we also have to name the second half of the pattern, Aquarius's ruling planet, Uranus, which corresponds with the Fool. This archetype shows a traveler stepping forward with a small bag and a dog at the heels, right near the edge of a cliff. The Fool is numbered 0, which matters because it represents potential that hasn't been defined yet. It's the beginning of movement before certainty exists. It's the willingness to enter the unknown without needing the entire path explained in advance. This is why Uranus was assigned here. It describes the part of life that breaks continuity. Uranus isn't gradual. Uranus disrupts the old pattern and forces the new one into existence. The Fool mirrors Uranus because it steps outside the approved script. It's the moment someone chooses the new timeline over the familiar one, even if it looks strange to everyone else. Next, we will discuss why the star and the Fool belong together as a pair for Aquarius season. The star represents the plan, the pattern, the guiding intelligence, and the North Star of the collective. The Fool represents the break from precedent, the first step into the unknown, and the courage to be early. Aquarius needs both. Without the star, the Fool becomes chaos with no direction. Without the Fool, the star stays an idea that never becomes real. Together they are Aquarius, the vision to see the upgrade, and the courage to step into it first. Next, we will discuss the element and mode of Aquarius. The Aquarius mode of operation is fixed air. Air isn't only thoughts or facts. Air is connection. It's the space between people where ideas travel, alliances form, and opportunities move. All three air signs handle intelligence and communication, but they express it in three completely different ways. Gemini is mutable air. It is mentality that dissects and shares information. It learns by gathering information and comparing perspectives. The Gemini frequency follows multiple threads at once. By contrast, Libra is relational intelligence. Libra is cardinal air. It learns through relationships by initiating harmony, starting the dialogue, reading the room, correcting imbalance in real time, and moving situations toward mutual agreement. Aquarius stabilizes a vision and corresponding mental idea long enough to build reality from vision. Next, we will discuss real-world historical applications of important Uranus transits. When Aquarius and Uranus are active in the collective, one theme becomes obvious. The future stops being a joke and starts becoming real policy. And in January 2026, Aquarian themes were loud. Pluto had just moved into Aquarius for the first time since the 1700s, and Uranus had begun its 7-year transit through Gemini. Together, that combination accelerated the transformation of transportation, collective networks, and emerging technology, because Gemini rules short trips, local movement, and everyday mobility. And in 2026, San Francisco, the future wasn't abstract at all. Driverless taxis had officially moved from sci-fi into everyday reality. Enter Waymo, Google's driverless taxis, already taking real market share, with some reports putting their share at around 27% of rideshares in San Francisco. That's the star in action. Once something becomes part of the public network, society has to decide how it fits and how it's regulated. And as Aquarius season began in January 2026, the pushback became visible too. Uber and Lyft protests were happening because the system was changing fast and jobs were at stake. This example shows why the star and the fool belong together in Aquarius. The star sees the upgrade, and the fool disrupts the old pattern so the upgrade can actually happen. Because what Waymo really represents is Uranian energy in real life: disruption, innovation, and the future arriving before we feel ready. The Fool, as Uranian energy, represents stepping into the unknown and breaking the old script. These driverless taxis represent that disruptive Uranian leap, and the collective pushback was obvious. Uber and Lyft drivers protested because the system was changing fast and it threatened their jobs. That's Uranus planetary energy disrupting the status quo through new technology. The technology moves forward first, and everyone else scrambles to adapt after. Waymo's driverless cars in San Francisco are a contemporary archetype for this exact energy. Next, we will discuss how this same Aquarian and Uranian disruption pattern shows up in finance through the emergence of digital currency. During the 2026 Aquarius season, it became clear that disruption didn't only show up in transportation, it also showed up in finance and networks. This timing matters because Uranus, expressed through the Fool archetype, spent 7 years moving through Taurus, the sign that rules money, explaining why Bitcoin moved from an internet experiment into a serious global conversation. By January 2026, as Uranus was moving toward a 7-year stay in Gemini, the cryptocurrency shift was being pulled into regulation and market structure, not because it was dying, but because it was becoming too integrated to stay informal. And as cryptocurrency regulations surged to the top of the social media conversation, Uranus was stirring up Gemini territory in a different way. Rapid information spread, viral debate, and nonstop discourse around digital money. This is where the star of Aquarius excels, turning a futuristic concept like crypto into something that can actually function inside the real world. Next, we're going to step back further in history and look at the last major Uranian Aquarian wave, the era that pushed the internet into the mainstream. To fully appreciate the Aquarian energy, it helps to look back at the last time Uranus was in Aquarius, from 1995 to 2003. That era is when the internet stopped being a niche thing and became mainstream life. The dot-com boom happened, and society shifted fast into a connected world. But you can measure that Uranian disruption by what started collapsing. Physical encyclopedias, film cameras, paper maps, and fax machines disappeared from the mainstream in a few short years. Whole industries didn't just change, they got replaced. That's the vision and disruption pattern in real life. Aquarius makes the future believable, and Uranus pushes everyone into it before they feel ready. Next, we will discuss the core nature of Aquarian birthdays and Aquarian rising signs. One of the most misunderstood traits of Aquarius is that it isn't just future-oriented and intellectually independent. The deeper core trait is mental steadiness. Aquarius succeeds in pursuits where steady mental patterns and intense concentration are necessary. This sign can stay focused on an idea long enough to understand how it works, why it works, and what needs to change for it to work better. In relationships and group settings, Aquarius often stays clear-headed while others get pulled into noise. Next, we will discuss the shadow pattern of Aquarius. It's important to name the shadow pattern of Aquarius, because the same traits that make Aquarius visionary can also make it difficult to live inside existing systems. Aquarius is fixed air, so when it locks onto a principle, it doesn't easily compromise. If the environment feels unfair, archaic, or corrupt, Aquarius' shadow can become intensely rebellious, oppositional, and off the wall. Instead of improving the system, the person rejects the system completely. This can look like refusing authority or resisting structure. The mind stays brilliant, but the nervous system gets overstimulated, and the person can spiral into instability, isolation, or self-sabotage. Aquarius' shadow isn't bad. It's often a sign that the person can see what needs to change, but doesn't yet know how to build a stable bridge into the future. How do you interpret the star in a card reading? Upright. The star means clarity, renewal, and direction returning. It's the feeling that the signal comes back online after confusion. The star advises you to clear your head first, detach from the noise, and trust the long arc of your vision. Reversed. The star is a distorted signal, lost faith, disconnection from purpose, or creeping cynicism. It can also show up as emotional numbness. The advice is to stop seeking proof and rebuild trust through consistent small actions. Let's now turn to the meaning of the Fool, upright and reversed. Upright, the Fool is the leap into the unknown, it's movement before certainty. It's the willingness to start without needing the full map, because something inside you knows the old script is finished. The advice of the Fool is to take the first step before certainty arrives. Trust the inner nudge that says the old script is finished, and give yourself permission to experiment your way into a fresh timeline. Reversed, the Fool can look like the same Uranian impulse, but destabilized. Instead of a clean leap, it becomes impulsive risk, scattered direction, or rebellion for rebellion's sake, pushing against reality just to push. It can also show up as fear of change or refusing to take the step even when you know it's time. Reversed, the Fool either breaks too much too fast or won't move at all. Please like and subscribe for the Aquarian Deck and Walk to see what it means to be born under the 3 different faces of Aquarius.